Welcome back, guys, and welcome to Over the Bar Football Podcast. And we have quite a lot of talking points for you today. With me is AY Shola Brown and myself, and we will be starting with AFCON 2025. The competition has finished, has concluded, but I mean, not without its controversies. And we will start first by looking at those, discussing those controversies, and then we will go on to build our team of the tournament. Quite a lot of things came up, especially during the final between Senegal, Morocco, and from the disallowed goal, Ismail Assar's the disallowed goal to the penalty that was given to the Moroccans, to a conspiracy theory that is currently making the waves that perhaps Brahim Diaz may have deliberately lost the penalty or played it in the manner that he did with the Panenka style penalty. And this and many more we'll be discussing during this segment of the show. So let's start with Brown. What are your thoughts about the game yesterday? The controversy about Brahim Diaz deliberately panenkaing the penalty, and then of course the disallowed goal from Ismail Assar and the penalty that was given. Did you think the referee made the right decision, or what do you think?
I mean, if I have to go from back to front, I'll firstly talk about the Panenka. Now, if it
Mm-hmm.
is a question of whether or not Brahim Diaz decided to Panenka the penalty was a deliberate action, is questionable. There are different quarters with different opinions as regards this. But personally, I would say he was meant he wanted to score that goal. This whole idea of giving your country their first AFCON in about 50 years and wanting to
Mm-hmm.
do it in a fashionable way. That was what he was going for. So I would any day, anytime say he did that to give himself that accolade, that prestige of, I panenkaed our way into our first AFCON after 50 years. So I don't buy the whole idea of him deliberately missing it. Now, before the penalty, right, there was a quick incident because all of these things happened in the 90th plus minutes in
Mm-hmm.
the finals, right? Now, prior to when that penalty incident happened, you will recall that in the match, there was a toggle between um, Hakimi and uh, Sek, the Senegalese number 4, the defender, right? Now, before the corner kick was played into the 18-yard box, you would notice that whilst Sek was looking at the direction of the ball, Hakimi was focused on the player. If you play that back again slowly, Hakimi was focused on the player. And both of these players, their arms were outstretched towards each other. So as a result of that, Hakimi did not even think twice. He went down. And after going down, even though they were both stretching their arms out towards each other, the ref did not even wait for that Ismail Assar's goal to go in before he blew the whistle. And that was where I feel like the referee should have done better, right? Now, decisions like that, you don't just rush and then you blow the whistle. Of course, you can argue that, the referee took an immediate decision because of what had happened in the game. But leading to that game, we can go on and talk about decisions that had gone in the way of Morocco, but that most of us spectators didn't think it was legitimate, right? But that is all for another time. But at the end of the day, when the referee blew the whistle, right, and then he cancelled the goal, that took away the opportunity of VAR to even intervene. Because before Ismail Assar headed the ball into the net, the referee had already cancelled the actions that proceeded that by blowing that whistle. And I feel like the DR Congo referee could have done a little better by holding his whistle, waiting a little longer for all of that play to douse down before he decides to give whatever he decides. That gives an opportunity for VAR to now come in and deliberate whether or not it was a penalty. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he could have done better. But of course,
Whether or
if you
not it
go
was
by
a
the
foul,
rule,
right?
so blowing that foul, I feel he should not have done that so quickly,
Mm-hmm.
right? He should have at least given VAR the opportunity to come into that situation by holding back and allowing the play to go on. and then
Yes.
VAR can then come back and then see if it was a penalty or not a penalty. So
Free
I feel like
kicking.
all
Was
of
was a
those,
goal or not?
whether it was a goal, I beg your pardon, or
Yes.
not. So
Yes.
all of
Hmm.
those, and immediately after that incident was when the penalty on the other side of the pitch occurred.
Hmm.
And if you look at that replay, you would notice that Brian Diaz was literally cajoling, not just cajoling, commanding the referee, for lack of a better word, to go over to the screen to watch, to see that thing. Because the referee originally, he didn't see the incident, right? But Diaz was literally asking him, go and watch the screen. And I feel like that was the Moroccans becoming overreaching, right? So when things like that happen, of course you complain whilst you are raising your arm, complaining, gesticulating for a foul or whatever. It is the VAR that has the right to now intervene, to now say, okay, referee, let us review this situation and see what's happening, as against the player commanding the referee to go over to the screen to watch, even though he had not been called up by the VAR team to do so. So I feel like in many occasions the Moroccans were far too overreaching, and we can go on, like I said, in the course of the show to outline some of the instances where I personally felt that they had decisions go their way that should not have been. So all of those coming together was ultimately why there was so much chaos in the pitch, and the Senegalese felt like, oh, decisions were going against them, and this was something that has been proceeding before that finals, and
Hmm.
all of those things that ensued afterwards ensued. I mean, I can go on and begin to, for instance, now if you look at, there was a foul in the penalty box by the Moroccan defender, Agod, the guy from Marseille, right?
Hmm.
And then he fouled the Cameroonian Kofane in the quarterfinals in the 18-yard box. There was no penalty. There was no VAR check. There was no foul blown for the Cameroonians. Are we going to now talk about the Mbuemo's case where there was obvious contact, but there was no intervention by VAR and there was neither intervention by the referee? Are we going to talk about Amrabat stepping on a Malian player and there was no double check to even see if that was even a foul or a yellow card? None of that happened. Or are we going to talk about the Tanzanian number 7 that was literally pushed to the ground in the 18-yard box against Morocco? But none of these things were even called by VAR or the on-pitch referee. So all of this coming together were reasons. I cannot even begin to talk about the Nigerian situation because they will say, oh, I'm biased because I'm Nigerian. Hence the reason why I have refused to mention the incidents that involved Nigeria and Morocco. But all of these things coming together were reasons why the Senegalese, in my opinion, felt like they have been undone here, as against allowing the game to flow. So that was what led to all of the protests. But is it a question of whether or not that Brian Diaz pull was a foul? Absolutely, it is a foul. I agree with that any day, anytime. But all of these decisions, all through the group stages leading up to the finals, were the reasons why I felt the Senegalese felt they were actually being targeted, and as a result, they didn't want to go on with the play. And we can go on to talk about the day leading to the finals, where they arrived at the train station and then there was no security to even lead them to their hotel. They were literally swamped. Are we going to talk about Senegal reporting to CAF that the complex they were given to train was literally next to that of Morocco, and Moroccans can actually see their tactics and record it. Therefore, they need a new training ground. Are we going to now begin to mention the 2,852 seats that was the only 2,852 seats that was allowed to the Senegalese fans, as against
I mean,
a total of 70,000? So
hmm,
all of these
there's
things
quite a lot
coming
of talking
together were
points.
reasons
There's quite a
why
lot
I
of
felt
talking points.
the Senegalese,
I
yeah,
agree with you.
had to take
And
that decision. So yeah.
and Shola, there's also something that happened that was quite. I mean, the Senegalese coach Pape Theo, I think is his name now. has come under fire for actually calling his players off the pitch, right? Which he has apologized for from the news that we have seen. So you might just want to touch on that while you are speaking to the disallowed goal. I know that Brown has spoken explicitly about disallowed goal and the penalty and whether Brian Diaz deliberately lost the PK. Maybe you want to speak to the conspiracy theory as to whether he deliberately lost the PK and the attitude of the coach on the pitch, the Senegalese coach, by calling the players off the pitch.
All right, thank you. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think he deliberately missed that penalty. Because of course, his emotions right after he missed the penalty, he was like literally sober. Of course, also after when he was being presented with his golden boots, he didn't look too happy,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he could have won it for Morocco. He didn't win it from them. Obviously he didn't miss it on purpose. He just wanted to disrespect the Senegalese, and
Mendy?
it backfired. He wanted to disrespect Mendy, and it backfired. And to be honest, I felt like I mean, the coach telling his players to leave the pitch. Of course, it was like too much. You should have allowed them to stay. And now CAF has suspended him. Hopefully, they didn't suspend him for too long, but we don't know how long they've suspended him for, right? But also, we have to give it to Sadio Mane for actually not leaving the pitch and eventually calling the rest of the players from the dressing room to come back. Because who knows what could have happened, They could have been sanctioned. They could have even lost the opportunity to then eventually become the winner
Champions.
of this just concluded AFCON. So, I mean, but when you look about the competition, how Moroccans have been prior to the final, then I can understand why the coach felt a sense of injustice. Also things like around, I don't know what's wrong with them taking goalkeepers too well. I don't get it.
I
Like
don't know
what's
too.
what's
It happened again
what's there?
yesterday.
It happened
Yeah.
again yesterday that the Senegalese reserve goalkeeper had to be behind Mendy, holding his towel, preserving it, like just not making sure that it's being taken by the Moroccans. And there was even like some clips on social media where about 3 people were dragging that same towel with him, like literally like assaulting him. I mean, these didn't like they were just like bad for AFCON, to be honest. Like for this beautiful game of AFCON, it was just like really, 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 really bad. And of course, FIFA president has come out to, of course, speak against that act from the Senegalese. But I also hope that he will speak against some of these things that we witnessed from the Moroccans. Not even about bad officiating now, but some of those things like taking keepers' towels, like assaulting people and stuff like that. So throwing banana at Nwabali, like some of those things, I feel like he should if he should come out to also address those things as well. So I mean, personally, I am happy that Senegal won it because obviously having enjoyed such bold uh, injustices, right? I felt like I just know something in me just wanted Senegalese to win it. I'm happy that Senegal won it, and yeah.
Anyway, also during the game, quite a lot of nonsense, I should say, happened, especially during that period where players were now told to leave the pitch for security reasons. Before it now became a thing where the Senegalese players left the pitch. There are clips that have come out about people fighting, throwing all kinds of things in the stadium. Just speak to the coordination of the event of the entire tournament in itself. Also, one more point: while they were handing over the trophy to the Senegalese, right? I thought the coordination was very horrible because even the the Moroccan representative who was sitting beside the FIFA president was very reluctant to even go forward to present this. I mean, you can be a loser, but I don't think you should be a sore loser, right? Was very reluctant, and the trophy was just handed over to them as if it was just a $50 mug,
Family,
right? Yeah, it was. It was.
yeah.
So, anyway,
There
speak to
was no
this.
joy.
The entire coordination of the event and even how the cup presentation went.
So I will start from the competition itself. I think one thing that Morocco as a country they've successfully um, told everyone in the world is that they are capable logistically to host a tournament. I mean, in terms of they have beautiful stadiums,
Hmm.
they have like very very fine. At least the coordination is there. Built the I was reading somewhere and they said the access route into the stadiums are actually fine, and you can even compare them with the big stadiums in Europe. But that aside, I would continue with what you said about the presentation of the trophy. Even before they started presenting, you will notice that when the officials were coming out, they actually did not even know where to stay. They were
Hmm. Hmm.
literally, you stay to my left, you come to my right. Then they brought a woman that they also did not know where to stay. She was like, should I come in between or
In fact, they had two
should I go to
stages
the
where, sorry to cut you short, where the FIFA president was on one and the other officials were on the other
yes.
one.
So the second stage is where they will present the like when they gave money, when they gave the Golden Glove, the whoever would be presenting will walk from the I would say
First
maybe
stage.
secondary stage to now the primary stage. Then the player would come. I don't know what they keep telling them in their ears when players. I don't know what happens when players pass and they shake the officials. I don't know what they tell them in their ears. Some will hug them, they will shake. Some they will. I don't know what they tell them. But in terms of organization, and again when they were also handling the flags for the next
Oh, God.
hosts of the
Even that one.
of AFCON,
Hmm.
if the commentator did not say what was going on, I wouldn't have known. I would have probably thought they were maybe trying to celebrate the
I had
win
no
or
idea what
something.
was going
I
on,
didn't know
too.
that they were.
Hmm.
I didn't know that they were trying to. Okay, we are handing over the host whatever from Morocco
Coast.
to. Yeah, so I guess they are meant to host the
Hmm.
next AFCON. So officiating too throughout the tournament, I would say poor. Because how would a host nation, come and say before like we are going to win the tournament with of course there are teams that say it, Nigeria said it, but their own was from a very confident point of view, knowing, or I think I would say allegedly, knowing what would have gone wrong behind. Like they know that. Look at the Nigerian game, for instance. They
In
did not
addition
even
to what
see.
you just mentioned, sorry to interject, the if you notice, the referee that officiated the match between Cameroon and Morocco was changed last minute just because Morocco requested for a change of referee. So the
I think
original
Cameroon also protested.
appointed ref was changed last minute because Morocco requested for it against Cameroon. So yeah,
So,
go ahead.
so the officiating generally, like Brown said, how would you for a final put Senegal near the stadium where you want them to practice, put them near the Moroccan team when you know that you can record their. I stand to be corrected. Maybe that was what they did against Nigeria to know, okay, this is what we are meant to do. We are meant to choke the midfield. This is what they practice, and this is what we are going to do to counter to counter them, which worked for Nigeria, which did not work against Senegal.
Senegalese
And
team.
I'm happy, the whole Africa is actually happy that Senegal went ahead to win. And like I said, I don't understand why he would be taking people's towels. What is the rationale behind it?
It's
I
probably
even saw a clip of
a
Hakimi,
juju orientation.
Ashraf Hakimi. You've played in the top of the top leagues. You should at least accord the other team. You are the host nation, for crying out loud. You have more people. You have about 90% of the population of people in the stadium. That alone is demoralizing. If you go to Newcastle, you will see they will put their away fans up,
Hmm.
and imagine you looking as a Senegalese player. Imagine you looking around and all you are seeing is red, red, red,
Red, red,
red, red
red.
flags. It's discouraging, and to an extent, I kind of support or I kind of see reason why the Senegalese coach decided to take his players inside, because they might have started fights. Because how would you not go and look at VAR when when Senegal scored, and you were literally obeying Brahim Diaz? He was telling you, go and look at the VAR, go and look at the VAR, and you had to go. Of
I
course,
mean, I would have
if
thought
I
the
were to
referee
be
would review that ordinarily, but I think it was just
I, I,
uh,
I mean,
the
to,
behavior
to give it
of
to the
Diaz at that
referee.
time. It didn't just make sense
I
that
No,
would
he
it's
I
kept
would
on
not
commanding
say
him to
that
move.
penalty.
football can be like football can be so you can be so passionate like you are like go and check it like that's a foul, that's a foul. So I'm not gonna really fault Diaz for that. And to be honest, that could have also gone both ways. It could have been a penalty. I
Yeah.
mean, this is like a Real Madrid player, so he
But to
knows
me, oh, in my
when
own
he has been
honest
pulled.
opinion, that penalty could have easily been waived. It's a 50-50, and I'm
Yes,
I also, I
100%
also,
sure.
I also agree. I agree. I
I'm
because
think
if
the
you
ref,
100%
I think the
sure.
ref should have read the room and known
yes,
that,
Exactly.
read the room exactly,
especially since they just recently scored a goal, wasn't given.
and
Now
then
just having like a controversial penalty on the other side,
And
exactly,
besides, at that point, both teams were actually
like going
looking
at it,
forward to
the
penalties,
extra time already.
extra
Like both
time
teams
at
were
least.
already
or
going.
extra time. They were already looking
Yeah,
forward to extra time.
yeah.
If you score a very look at the goal Senegal scored, you cannot say you want to review that one.
Yeah,
You
there's
score
nothing you
a
can do
Yeah.
clean
about
goal,
it.
score a beautiful goal, score
I
a
mean,
outside the 18-yard goal, and everybody will be fine. So generally, officiating to me was somehow.
Cool.
I would say that reading
I
the room
mean,
in that situation would have been. I mean, maybe we would be saying something else now, or it would have been worse than this if the referee had not awarded that penalty, because I think it was a penalty. You as a defender should not be holding. I mean, it's in the 18-yard box. You should not be holding an opposition player by their necks and obviously dragging them down, right at that point in time. So it was just unfortunate
The
that
reason
it
why,
was in.
the reason why I said they should have read the room, right, is because except the referee is being untrue to himself. In himself, in his heart of heart, he will have known that, oh, this last goal that they scored, maybe I shouldn't have quickly blown my whistle, Maybe I should have just waited it out. And he will have seen like some of these mistakes and he should have just like, I think the ref also didn't like his first decision regarding the penalty was like not
nothing.
penalty.
Exactly.
And I mean, he has the power not to even go check the VAR.
Exactly. It was until
So
Diaz
it was
was
until the pressure
pointing
was then coming
at the
and
screen.
But
then
That
also,
was
going to check.
when he
I
then
And
mean,
decided.
even at that, he still like sort of had the ability to say no, this is sub like 50-50.
so
I
Exactly.
the
didn't
thing
didn't
is
blow it.
this:
I mean,
once you are sent to the screen to review a decision, it is there's a high likelihood that the decision will have to go in a certain way, which is probably so. If the conversation was, is this a penalty or not? If you are sent to the screen, you most likely come back with this is a penalty. I think this is just. I'm not sure why this is the case, but this is usually how it is.
That is like the unsaid and
Unsaid rule,
agreed.
yes. Like if they send you to the
Yeah,
screen,
unsaid and
it's not
Yeah.
agreed
really
rule.
for you to go and confirm whether it is or not. It is for you to see
Just to change
clearly
your
that it
mind.
is a penalty, right? So I don't know. I think it was just unfortunate that it was
personally,
in the 90. It wasn't. It was very late when that decision came up, right? And well, I mean, thankfully,
I,
Diaz decided to Panenka
And
it,
then
and
Diaz had the opportunity
so
to like blast
to
it
win.
in.
Well,
Diaz, to me, in my opinion, he was
Was
actually
was
disrespectful.
a
He
Chukwuezian.
wanted that headline that Diaz Panelka wins Morocco first, whatever, whatever, or under whatever wins Morocco the AFCON 2025. Because how would you tell me he intentionally wants to throw throw away the penalty, and he picked up the ball literally. This is
kissed the
Kissed
someone
it.
ball.
that was going for a golden boot, oh,
Hmm.
highest
He
goal.
kissed the
No,
ball.
he carried the ball, he kissed the ball, dropped the ball. Mendy even came, wanted to play mind games with it. He also
Yeah.
approached Mendy, carried the ball, repositioned the ball. To me, he just wanted that headline, like Brahim Diaz wins AFCON for whatever. And that was why he was really, really pained when he lost, because he could have scored. He could
I
have
mean,
decided not to do
I,
Panenka.
I totally agree with all of what all of you guys have talked about, right? But I mean, it just reminds me of what Nelson Mandela said in his exact quote Nelson Mandela said, "The pendulum of life is long and it will always swing towards justice." And that was what I feel happened yesterday. Justice
He
for
knows swing.
football,
He don't swing towards
justice
justice against Nigeria. Oh.
for Senegal. And it's just justice. But I mean, but to be honest, beyond that, I know there are occasions where I felt the referee could have read the room better. Instances where the World Cup finals in 2010 between Spain and Holland, where De Jong actually he nearly removed Javier Alonso's chest. But Howard Webb looked at the room. It was early in the game. It was a very big stage. He gave him a yellow card. Nobody complained. And the ball went on. At the end of the day, Spain won. The point is, yes, there has been bad decisions in the AFCON. Of course, you would always give kudos to the host country. And I also indulge other African countries to come forward to at least do what Morocco is doing in terms of organization, because the last WAFCON that was organized, the Women African Cup of Nations, it was Morocco, right? And then all of the spectators that have gone to Morocco as well to see these games, they have also said that the facilities are top notch, right? So in many other aspects, they have done well, but there's this unwritten rule in Africa which I think CAF needs to begin to try to address, where it feels like if you are the host country, you most likely have the right to win it. And that should not be football. Because the last edition in Cote d'Ivoire, similar situations happened with fans and the Ivorian fans, but it was not as escalated and pronounced as it is now. So I understand the tension when it comes to all of these games when you are the host of it, but we should not take away the beauty of the game, because as beautiful as that final was meant to be, it will be clouded by the incident. The incident will come first, as against beautiful goals
Obviously.
like the
Now we are
one
not
that
talking
won it
about the goal. We are talking
for the
about
Senegal.
the
Exactly.
controversies.
So ultimately, I feel like these are things CAF needs to begin to look at, and I also indulge other countries' presidents to begin to at least build infrastructures that will give them the opportunity to begin to
Replay.
host tournaments like
If you
this.
chop,
Because if
go
that
chop
does
am.
not happen, then we'll continue to complain about referees making bad decisions here and there. The referees allegedly being influenced by host countries and whatnot. So I feel like CAF needs to work on that. So yes, referees are human beings too. Occasions will come, they will make mistakes, but there should not be an unwritten rule where the host nation deserves the right to win it. Go and treat them well. As much as you treat your own players, treat the visitors well too. The visiting players well. If you want to deal with them in the pitch. Deal with them on the pitch in 90 minutes. So when we begin to look at these things and then countries begin to come together to want to build facilities that are capable of hosting this type of tournaments, I think African football will continually grow. And kudos to Sadio Mane for what he did on that occasion, because he has been a fantastic player for Africa, not just for Senegal. So these are the type of things we want to see. And I just hope that we'll be able to come out of this one as Africans. And then moving forward, the next tournament will not come out with all of this chaos and shambolic acts from fans and host nations alike, where we can just go watch the beautiful game and feel safe being a supporter as well. So yeah, I think these are the things we can begin to look at, and hopefully it improves as the year goes by.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have really made a lot of points. And away from all of the controversies, I think that it was a fantastic competition. I think that a lot of players, I mean, some players will probably get big moves in this January transfer window, based on their performance in this competition and all of that. I thought it was a very good competition. I thought football was enjoyable. I saw very good football from a lot of teams. Nigeria, for instance, surprised all of us and played, even a lot better. Even though the semi-final game was then just, I mean, we played the B team, so it was then just a bow kind of game. Wasn't as what we had seen before Morocco, right? And on a lighter mode, before we move on to the next talking point, I thought that the commentators were also very funny. So there was one particular one that bust my head. It was when Nigeria won the third place, and
You always find the list, yo.
Amokachi said that The players just ran quickly to say what's up to Umar Bali and then they ran back. No, they ran quickly to say what's up to Lukman and they ran back to Umar Bali. I thought that was very funny. So, yeah.